Hello everybody, and welcome to the first ever DroneBee Daily, the video series where we talk about anything and everything related to Final Fantasy 15: A New Empire. And so here we are, episode 1, the beginning. Where better to start than in a pretty new realm with a brand new account. Just for this video, I thought a good starting point would be a beginner video on what I recommend to do if you're a beginner. If you're just starting out, there's a lot of things you can do in this game and a lot of different directions you can take. So where do you start? What do you do? Well, the first thing that I recommend doing is, depending on where you are, of course, but the first starting goal has to be to get T2 troops out, and if you don't have if you already have T2, then the next goal is to get T3 troops out. And it's interesting, you can't even scroll down past T2 with a brand new account. Did not know that. Oh, cool thing, guys. Adventurer tab in the university. This is brand new as of January 9th, 2018. Yikes, 2018. Man, this is crazy. Time flies. So these are pretty cool. It turns out that you're going to need these new fragments. There's monster fragments. There's, if I can not misclick, there is... Oh! This is going to be a video of all kinds of scattered brain stuff. But interesting thing, guys. This is a new realm. It's maybe... Well, in fact, we can look at this. It is 2 months and 10 days old, so a pretty new realm. And it's kind of interesting. I've seen a lot of talk about people complaining or curious about their packs not being as good as other people's packs. And I've noticed that in this realm, there's only 2 times gold packs, whereas in my 6-month-old realm, there's 18 times gold packs. And you get just more of everything. And also, so how old your realm is determines what you can get largely in these packs. Also, another thing, certain things like the Mythic Forge is unavailable in the 2-month-old realm. What else is unavailable? Oh, you can't get Prompto and you can't get Luna in this realm. I've just talked with people already in this realm and they've told me so. So it's kind of interesting. So they introduce these features with time. So if you don't see them, don't get flustered. Don't stress out. They'll be available in due time. They just don't. I guess they probably stack it. So you spend a bunch of money, and then once they introduce these things, you're tempted on spending a bunch of money. So there's some kind of logic there. Right. So back to where I was at. If you're a new starting player, getting the highest level troops you can get as quick as you can get them has to be precedent. Like, that has to be the most important thing, because tier 2 troops are way better than tier 1. Tier 3 is way better than tier 2. So that's the end goal. That's just the goal in general. The beginning goal, the mid goal, and the end goal is all troop research. But naturally, you can only research as fast as your university will allow. So what else do you do? Probably the next most important thing is attacking monsters. And there's a lot of different monsters to attack. Which ones do you attack? Well, I would recommend anything that is in the event. If there's an event for a monster, find that monster, because chances are it's the best one. So right now, the best monster that's available to farm is these candy corns. And the reason why is these candy corns drop bags of treats and bags of tricks. And of course, if you're seeing this video in a couple months from now, these monsters may not be available. They cycle through every couple of months or every couple of weeks. They introduce new monsters and get rid of old ones. For a while, we had goblin monsters, and those were by far the best. But those are gone now, and we got to work with what we got. So look at this, 20,000 energy, 100,000 energy, 100,000 metal. It's not bad for a couple monster hits. Um, we've got Holy Onslaught, some Gunslinger, Drill Boost. Those are all good. I mean, relatively good. If you're having trouble finding these monsters, it took me a long time to find the candy corn. But what I did, and this is the trick that I've learned, first things first, talk to your guild, ask them if they know where any candy corn monsters are, the holiday cactular monster is a good one too. It's about as good as the candy corn, maybe the same. The thing with that though is you don't get event points right now. So like, for instance, first prize, it's a free bag of each. Not too great, but it's free stuff. So if you can stick with the events, do that. But so how to find monsters? First, ask your guild, ask Realm Chat. People are usually pretty helpful. If that fails, look around close to you. Sometimes you can find it, but sometimes you can't. Then what I recommend is find a hive nearby you and look. See all these fast arrows? They're coming from somewhere or going to somewhere. And if you click, follow the arrows, and you can see where they're going, where they're coming, or just try to visually do it by eye. And typically, those people are, if you see enough arrows in one direction, they're probably attacking a particular monster. And so, like in this case, well, we just found this by accident. Good monster, but yes, I like to just go around and click people's monsters and see where they're headed, or follow the arrows. And it can take a while. It can be like an art, but typically it leads somewhere, unless it's so far away that you can't just keep track of it, which is the case. Luckily, I already found one. I did this a little bit ago. And yeah, so attack these candy corn monsters. It's the way to do it. So if you do that, keep doing that, you'll get free gold, you get free resources. Definitely recommend it. That brings me to the second point, is if you can, try to follow these events. You got the build events, you get free stuff. Well, not much at level 5, but as you level, the rewards get better, so try to do them. I love these expedition quests where you have to mine resources, and just by every day, go through. In this one we have troop power. So as a starting out free-to-play player, you'll have trouble with some of these, but you can at least do the gather gil, gather energy, gather metal. You can usually get at least the first tier, which in this case is hero chance in VIP, so nothing too spectacular. If you can get that second one, that's where it's really at. But yeah, so try to do the events, keep farming the good monsters, ask around if you're not sure which monsters are good, because it will change with time. On top of that, I recommend some other beginner tips. Oops. Some other beginner tips is try to get my thoughts in order. It's been a long day. It's been a long day. Okay, so one thing I recommend, guys, is this is something that I did not know for a shameful amount of time. I should have figured this out sooner, but use siege for farming. So if you're gathering from resource tiles, if you're gathering monster tiles, if you're attacking empires with no troops, use siege, because siege, it is way more effective for gathering. The amount you can gather is just, it holds way more per trip. So I'd recommend using siege for your mining. One of the most important things, guys, and this is something else that took me way too long to learn, is you can make mini accounts, right? Like you can make, like, in theory, as many emails as you have, you can make that many accounts. And then you can still make more emails to make more accounts. And we call these farm accounts. And what I recommend is you specialize and just focus solely on resource building. So what I usually do is I have an account just for energy, an account just for stone, an account for mining, for mines, and an account for farms, and maybe even extra stone. Usually I try to get these accounts to level 14 so the hero can't be captured, and just focus. I do account for each, but you don't have to. You can have every resource mining at each one, and join a different guild with your farms, teleport them near your main account, and then attack it, and you don't have to pay a tax penalty. So that's a way you can get free resources. T1 at first, and once you get higher level, then you can level those accounts up to 15 and get wheat, level them up to 16 and get, 16 essence, 17's lead, level 18 is granite, I believe, and 19 is coin. So you can, level up your accounts. We have some players that got above level 20 as free to play without even spending $1, just with time, just constantly upgrading bit by bit. What I do, I said I specialize in each building, but I will make 2 or 3 of each one just so it's kind of self-sufficient. So I'll have like 3 energy nodes, 3 mines, 3 quarries, and then the rest we all farms. Something like that. That's just so it's more self-sufficient, your capacity goes up, and you don't keep having to send more resources to it. Just makes it easier. So that's farms. Also, if you do all farms, you don't need to have banks for your resource on your main account. You can do all hospital wards, which is what I recommend starting out. Or if you a little bit more further along, you could do barracks. Barracks are cool because you can build way more troops way faster, and that comes in handy when you're killing troops off like crazy. And I'll get more into that at a later time, but for now, here we are. Brand new account. Some other things I've noticed on these fresh accounts is if you make a brand new account, so let's say you just made your account today, you'll start off in a brand new realm. So it won't stick you in with a 6-month-old bunch of killers. You'll be with a bunch of other people around the same level getting started. So it's kind of cool. It's fun to see a bunch of non-T4 people attacking a crystal. In fact, the only T4 person in this whole realm is this dude who I teleported next to just for fun. He said he'd hook me up with some resources. This is the only guy with T4. But yeah, so it's cool. One thing I have noticed is you can get mercenary fighting pits in new realms. So if you're just starting out and you want to take the crystal, to have much hope at all of it, you're going to need to build and buy mercenary troops. So I've noticed there's like 20,000 Corsair ships in here right now. There's 15,000 Guardians. Somebody even got those Ma X Curus T5 equivalents. And so those are what you're going to need to take the crystal in a new realm. So even as like a free, in brand new realms, you kind of have to be pay to win. But not in this account. This is going to be just pure. I'm going to go through the full experience. Maybe work on this account 30 minutes every day, just to see what kind of experience you can get as a free-to-play player. It's been so long since I've been a free-to-play player. Actually, I've never been, but it's been a long time since I've made a new account and leveled it up from scratch. So I look forward to it. And yeah, what else is some other tips for beginners? I didn't really plan this out very well. Sorry, guys. Another thing that took me a while to learn is it's okay if you don't meet your troop upkeep. So your troops will not die if you run out of food. So if this gets to 0 and it's flashing red and it looks all scary, don't worry, your troops are fine. The only bad thing about it is you can't, you know, like if you're below level 15 or below level 20 and you have T2 troops and your food's at 0, you can't level up your buildings very easily. So that's the case for having a second account just focused on food and attack that every time you need food. So every time you want to do an upgrade or train more troops, you attack it and then quick train troops quick before your food goes back down to 0. Or do everything you can in chunks. But you have to do it quickly before that food evaporates. Because I know, like on my main account, I've got I don't know, like 5 million T4 troops, and my wheat, it tanks like 3 million a minute or 3 million an hour. Like it's quick. Like I have to spend it so fast. It's ridiculous. So that took me a while. I was unfortunately trying to meet my troop upkeep for far too long, and it's tough to do because you need all that resource and you're still probably not going to hit it. You're going to need to focus on troop efficiency here, and that's kind of a waste of a skill if you ask me now. Looking back, it's like I would not at all, really, any of these on the right side, I keep it at the bare minimum. The bare minimum that I can have the march size. That, you know, because you're probably going to want your Noxus all troop attack. The other option though is you could focus on construction and research and training, and I actually don't think that's a bad way to go if you're just starting out. You will suffer some, your troops won't be as strong and they'll die a little quicker, but you know, if you're just starting out and you only have T2 troops, they're sacrificable, they're easy to replace. No biggie. If your account's 0, it's not the end of the world starting out. It's way more frustrating if you have, you know, 500,000 T3 troops and you get 0'd. Then at that stage, it's certainly worth focusing more on the attacks because, and the troop HP, because losing your troops, you know, if you're losing 500,000 T3 troops while you're offline, that's brutal. But if you're just losing 10,000 T2 troops, no biggie, right? So yeah, just focus on, you could do that if you want construction, training, research. The other thing though is you can't change it without getting a hero skill reset, and those do cost money. So if you're a free-to-play player, you gotta weigh your options, right? Do you focus on long-term, you know, advancing long-term quicker, or do you focus on saying, oh, I don't want to have to spend money on a hero skill reset, so I'm going to go ahead and just focus on the left side of the skill tree because that's where I'm going to want to be in the future. So do the math, guys. It's up to you. Yeah, just different preferences on how you want to advance your game. What else? Now, what I recommend, guys, is a lot of people like farming the, you know, the caches, the stone cache, the energy cache, but I actually don't recommend that. I focus solely on monster layers, and the reason is on the monster layers you're going to get mats or material for hero gear, and that's a little more useful in the long run. For resources, I would make 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. You can have as many accounts as you want. Make 20 accounts. The goal should be to never have to use your gold on building or on buying resources. That should be the goal. Not have to use any gold on resources. Not until you absolutely have to. Gold is pretty valuable starting out, and I recommend two things. I recommend saving a good amount for healing your troops up if you're attacked, and yeah, so I would recommend always having reserve gold for that, or use your gold for speed ups. So those are the two things I like to use gold on. I would not recommend using gold on resources, because you can get resources other ways. You can ask people for resources in your guild. You can, make farm accounts. It's a shame seeing people use their gold on resources. I know in my other guild, I always cringe, like, oh no, I could have given you 15 million energy. Don't spend, that's a couple days worth of speed up that you could have used instead. So that's what I recommend gold uses on. Another thing people seem to question is what to use your loyalty points on. And this is what I recommend, guys, is only use it for empire barriers if you're starting out. Because the thing with empire barriers is it can save you all kinds of headache in the future. But again, I would not use an empire barrier if you only have less than 50,000 troops. I would save. It's okay to be zeroed if you have less than 50,000, but I would save your barriers once you get over 50,000 troops, because that's when it'll really hurt. And the barriers are pretty valuable. You can only get, for instance, the 8-hour barrier, which is really the same cost as the 24-hour barrier. If you think about it, you can get 4 8 hours for 200,000. So I'd go ahead and get the 8 hours, but 50,000. So to get 50,000 loyalty points, it'll probably take you 3 days, maybe 4 days, depending on how active you are with your hero, and if you're maxing out your guild helps every day. So 8 hours every day. So if you're getting attacked a lot, you're going to run out of barriers pretty quick. So then I recommend saving them for when you really are going to want to use them once you get above 50,000, because that's when you want to save your troops. So little thing there, guys. Loyalty points. You can use them for teleports too. Not a bad idea. Especially if you're free to play, you're going to want to move around eventually, and yeah, so I'd save at least 150,000 for teleporting away, and once you get above that, save the rest for barriers. That's what I would do. If you're a pay-to-play player, you might want to use your loyalty on gear slots, things like that. What else? There's a couple other things. I use it a lot for gear slots. Sometimes I use it for troop speed ups, but I don't recommend it. It's pretty costly. Unless you're desperate, you really need to get a troop somewhere, a troop march somewhere quick, then you can do that. I've used it for things like hero renames, but it's kind of a waste. Like, it's not really helping you out in the game. It's just nice to not be stuck with the same name. I don't recommend using it for XP. I don't recommend using it for really even the gem savers. Like, maybe if you have a level 6 gem, you would want to save that, but that's super costly, right? I use it a lot for bombs. It's way quicker to bomb a building than it is if you have like a level 25 building to sit and wait to destroy a building. I wouldn't use it for VIP. I wouldn't use it for I have used it for random teleports. That can come in handy if you got a guy that's just camping out at your hive and he keeps hitting you and you can't get anything done because this punk's keep zeroing you. You can use a random and then advance teleport back when it's safe. Yep, that's pretty much that. For gear, guys, I'd recommend focusing solely on hunter gear starting out. I should have joined a well, in my next video I'll get more into that. That's a little bit more mid early game than it is just starting out. Cool, yeah, so there we have it. First ever DroneBee Daily. If you have any questions, suggestions, things I should focus on, hit me up. Try to keep making these and keep the content coming for you guys. Alright, peace out.